First contact deception. The Varangian warship Stellar Dominance emerged from fold space with the confidence of an apex predator. Its crystalline hull reflected the light of Earth's sun as Admiral Xena Valthor watched the blue planet through sensors that could detect a pebble from orbit. Her silver-scaled hands drifted over the control sphere, 4 pupils dilating with anticipation. Primitive signals detected, Admiral, reported First Observer Cax. His analysis tendrils wavered as they processed the incoming data. They're still using radio waves and chemical rockets. Atmospheric pollution suggests heavy reliance on fossil fuels. Xena's mandibles clicked in amusement. Another developing world to bring under Varangian protection and exploitation. The Stellar Council had designated Earth as a potential protectorate, perfect for resource extraction and cultural elevation. "Launch the recognition drones," she commanded. Standard first contact proto. Her order died mid-word as every sensor on the Stellar Dominance went dark. "Impossible." Kex chittered, his tendrils now writhing in confusion. "Our systems are intact but blind." A human voice, speaking perfect High Varangian, filled the bridge. "Varangian vessel Stellar Dominance. This is Earth Control. Your arrival is precisely on schedule. Please maintain your current orbit. A representative will dock with your ship in approximately 3 minutes." Xena's scales flickered with shock. How do they know our ship's name? And our language? Before anyone could respond, a small vessel appeared beside them. Simply appeared, with no warning from their now useless sensors. It was absurdly primitive looking, seemingly built from riveted metal plates and sporting chemical thrusters. It should have been impossible for such a craft to reach orbit, let alone match their position perfectly. The human vessel's docking request came through on frequencies that shouldn't have existed in their level of technology. Xena found herself accepting out of sheer bewilderment. Through the airlock stepped a single human female in what appeared to be primitive cloth garments. She carried no visible weapons or technology, yet moved with absolute confidence. "Admiral Valthor," the human said, bowing slightly. "I'm Director Sarah Chen of Earth's Stellar Integration Office. We've been expecting you." Xena's honor guard raised their plasma rifles, but the weapons didn't fire. They didn't even power on. "Please," Director Chen smiled. "Let's not pretend. Your weapons, like your sensors, have been temporarily adjusted. We find it makes first contact conversations more productive." "What are you?" Xena demanded, her ceremonial claws extending involuntarily. "We're human," Chen replied simply, "though I understand your confusion. You see, we've been watching the Varangian alliance expand for quite some time. Your policies regarding primitive worlds are concerning." She gestured, and suddenly the bridge was filled with holographic displays showing Varangian ships across the galaxy. Ships Xena knew were operating under complete stealth. "This is impossible," Kex whispered. "Their technology level is exactly what we want you to see," Chen finished. "Admiral, humanity has been among the stars for far longer than your people have existed. We maintain a deliberate technological masquerade on Earth, a reminder of humbler beginnings, you might say." The displays shifted to show vast structures hidden throughout the solar system, installations that dwarfed anything in the Varangian fleet. Some bore marks of age that suggested they were older than Xena's entire civilization. "Earth isn't a primitive world awaiting your protection, Admiral. We are one of the elder species, perhaps the eldest still active in this galaxy, and we've decided it's time to end our silence." "Why now?" Xena found herself asking, professional dignity warring with growing awe. Chen's expression grew grave. "Because something is stirring in the dark between galaxies, something ancient, something hungry, and the younger races, including yours, need to be ready." She touched a simple metal bracelet on her wrist, and suddenly the Stellar Dominance's sensors returned to life. But now, they showed the truth. Earth was surrounded by a defense grid that could have swatted their ship from space like an insect. The seemingly primitive satellites above the planet were facades concealing technology that bordered on magic. Admiral Valthor, I'm here to offer you a choice. Return to your council with proof of what humanity truly is, or Chen smiled again, but this time it held ancient wisdom and power beyond measure. Continue believing we're primitive and learn the hard way why that's a mistake. Either way, humanity is done hiding. Xena stared at the human woman, seeing past the simple clothing and unassuming demeanor to something that made her all four hearts skip a beat. She was looking at a representative of a species that had mastered the stars when her ancestors were still learning to make fire. The council must know, she said finally. Good choice, Chen replied. Now shall we discuss the real reason we revealed ourselves? The threat that's coming is unlike anything your people have faced. But together, she extended her hand in what Xena now realized was an ancient gesture of partnership. We might just have a chance. The fate of galaxies turned on that moment, as an admiral of the mighty Varangian alliance took the hand of a human and accepted that everything her people believed about their place in the cosmos had just changed forever. The Silent Guardians. Deep within Pluto's crystalline core, Commander Marcus Zhang stood before the Eternal Watch's primary monitoring chamber. Holographic displays showed thousands of civilizations across the galaxy, some just discovering fire, others reaching for their first stars. Each point of light represented billions of lives under humanity's silent protection. Status report on the Varangian delegation, he asked, eyes fixed on a particular cluster of emerging civilizations in the Orion Arm. Lieutenant Diana Patel's fingers danced across what appeared to be ancient stone, but functioned as an quantum interface. Admiral Valthor's transmission to the Stellar Council just concluded. As predicted, they're struggling with the revelation. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. They would. Show me the council chamber. The air shimmered, revealing the Varangian leadership in crisis. Dozens of the silver-scaled aliens argued violently, their ceremonial claws extended in threat displays. Admiral Valthor stood calmly in the center, the evidence of humanity's true nature playing behind her. How many intervention requests in the last solar day? Marcus asked, returning his attention to the galactic display. 17, Diana replied. The Proxima Collective nearly discovered quantum tunneling before achieving social stability. We had to introduce a subtle mathematical error in their calculations. The Zephyr Alliance almost weaponized their sun. We redirected their research toward peaceful applications. And the Meridian Cluster, still testing our boundaries. Marcus finished. Yes, sir. They've detected 3 of our observation posts but believe them to be natural phenomena. The chamber's lighting shifted subtly, indicating a priority alert. A new hologram materialized, showing Director Chen's return shuttle approaching Pluto's hidden installation. The Varangians are proceeding exactly as the probability matrices predicted, Chen announced as she entered, her simple clothing morphing into the luminescent formal wear of the Eternal Watch. Their military hardliners are pushing for immediate action against Earth. Marcus nodded. And the moderates? Growing increasingly interested in what we know about the coming threat. Admiral Valthor is proving to be an excellent catalyst for change within their hierarchy. Diana's interface chimed softly. Speaking of threats, the temporal sensors in the Andromeda galaxy just registered another anomaly. That's the 3rd this month. The chamber's displays shifted, focusing on a region of space that appeared empty to conventional observation. But to human sensors, it writhed with impossible geometries, space itself twisting in ways that suggested something vast stirring from eons of slumber. It's waking faster than we projected, Chen mused. Marcus, activate the Helios protocol. It's time to bring our other projects online. Marcus's eyes widened slightly. The Helios protocol. That would mean revealing ourselves to at least 30 other species simultaneously. The probability cascades would be necessary, Chen finished. Humanity has watched from the shadows for too long. The Varangians were just the beginning, a test case for what's coming. We need allies, not subjects. Show them. Diana's hands moved across her interface, and new images filled the chamber. Across the galaxy, hidden human installations began powering up. Observation posts transformed into defense platforms. Automated teaching systems buried within alien networks prepared to reveal themselves. And deep beneath the surfaces of 100 worlds, ancient human technology waited to be rediscovered. The Meridian cluster will find their fourth observation post in approximately 3 hours, Diana reported. But this time, when they scan it, they'll find exactly what they're looking for. Chen nodded. Sometimes the best way to teach is to let others believe they've made the discovery themselves. Through the quantum feeds, they watched as the pieces began falling into place. The Varangian Council's debate shifted from military action to urgent investigation as reports flooded in from their exploration fleets. Previously surveyed dead worlds suddenly showed signs of ancient human activity. Mysterious signals began reaching their listening posts. Signals that had always been there, but were only now allowed to be detected. Temporal displacement detected in Sector 7, Diana announced suddenly. Something massive just arrived. The chamber's displays automatically focused on the disturbance. A vast shape hung in the void between stars, defying normal space-time. It was exactly what they had feared. The first physical manifestation of the ancient threat. Well, Marcus said quietly, I believe that's our cue. Director. Chen's eyes reflected the eldritch geometries of the thing in Sector 7. Activate the Lazarus beacons. All of them. It's time for humanity to stop watching and start leading. She turned to face her colleagues, her expression both ancient and fierce, and send word to Admiral Valfor. Tell her that first contact was just the beginning. As the orders went out, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. Humanity had spent millions of years preparing for this moment, guiding younger species toward wisdom rather than just knowledge. Now, as an impossible horror stirred between the galaxies, those species would learn why. The age of human silence was ending. The age of revelation was about to begin. Origins unveiled. The archaeological site on Meridian Prime was supposed to be routine. Another ruin from another forgotten species. Dr. Zixexa of the Meridian Cluster had excavated hundreds of such sites. But as her sensor drones penetrated deeper into the ancient complex, her 6 hearts began beating in unprecedented patterns. This architecture, she whispered to her recording unit, it's impossible. These structures predate our earliest civilizations, yet they're unmistakably. She hesitated, mandibles clicking in distress. They're unmistakably human in origin. Above her, the perpetual storms of Meridian Prime painted the sky in shades of green and gold. But Zixexa barely noticed. Her attention was fixed on readings that threatened to shatter her species' understanding of history. Project Commander, her communicator crackled. You need to see this. Chamber 7. We found something. Chamber 7 lay 2 kilometers beneath the planet's surface. As Zixexa descended via gravity lift, she noted how the seemingly primitive technology grew more sophisticated with each level. By the time she reached her team, the ancient human architecture had transformed from simple stone and metal to materials that defied analysis. It activated as soon as we cleared the entrance, her assistant, Venko, reported. His sensor stalks were fully extended, a sign of extreme agitation. It's responding to us. The chamber was a perfect sphere, its walls covered in flowing scripts from a dozen extinct species. At its center floated a holographic display that showed the galaxy as it had appeared millions of years ago, and standing before it was a human figure, translucent but impossibly detailed. Welcome, Seekers, the figure said in perfect Meridian. I am the Archive Guardian. You have reached the requisite technological and social development levels for initial revelation protocol activation. Shall we begin? Zixex's scientific training warred with her growing sense of awe. Begin what? The truth, the Guardian replied simply. The holographic galaxy zoomed in on a familiar spiral arm. Humans didn't evolve on Earth. That was merely their most recent home. The display shifted, showing scenes that made Zixex's exoskeleton vibrate with shock. Humans, millions of years ago, building works that dwarfed stars. Humans, seeding galaxies with life. Humans, facing a horror from beyond space-time itself. We were among the first, the Guardian continued. Not the first to exist, but the first to achieve true civilization. We spread across the cosmos, built empires of unimaginable scope, mastered forces that could reshape reality itself. The hologram's expression grew solemn, and then we discovered something that changed everything. Across the galaxy, in that exact moment, 30 other archaeological teams were making similar discoveries. The Varangian Alliance's finest scholars stood in chambers identical to this one, watching the same revelation unfold. The Proxima Collective's research flotilla had just unearthed a human archive beneath the ice of a world they had colonized centuries ago. The Zephyr Alliance's deep space sensors were suddenly detecting ancient human installations that had been hiding in plain sight. Your recent contact with Earth was not a coincidence, the Guardian told Zixxa. The awakening of these archives was not random. Humanity has been guiding, protecting, and preparing younger species for millions of years. Because what we discovered, what drove us to hide ourselves among the stars, is returning. A holographic display shifted again, showing something that made Zixxa's scientific mind recoil. It was vast, impossible, a thing that existed in dimensions beyond normal space-time. We called them the Void Weavers, the Guardian said. They consumed entire galaxies, not for resources or territory, but to reshape reality itself. We fought them to a standstill, but the cost. The display showed worlds burning, stars going dark, entire species fleeing in terror. The cost was too high, so we tried a different approach. Now the holograms showed humans deliberately regressing their technology, establishing hidden watchers, guiding younger species toward wisdom rather than just power. Earth was both sanctuary and reminder, a place where humanity could remember its humble beginnings while maintaining its vigil. The civilizations we've guided, the species we've protected, you were never meant to be our subjects. You were meant to be our successors, our allies against what we knew would one day return. Zixxa's communicator burst to life, with urgent messages from across meridian space. Similar archives were activating everywhere, revealing the same truth. Humanity's supposed primitive state had been the greatest deception in galactic history. Why now? She asked the Guardian. Why reveal this after so long? The hologram's expression turned grave. Because the Void Weavers are awakening. The temporal distortions your people recently detected. Those were just the beginning. Humanity alone cannot face them again. But together, with the species we've helped guide toward wisdom rather than mere power. The chamber's walls suddenly became transparent, revealing vast machinery hidden behind them. Technology that made Meridian Prime's most advanced systems look like children's toys. This facility is now yours, the Guardian announced. Similar installations are being transferred to other species across the galaxy. The knowledge within them, the technology they contain. These are not gifts. They are tools you have earned through your own development, your own choices, your own wisdom. As Zixxa stared at wonders beyond imagining, her scientific mind began to grasp the true scope of human foresight. They hadn't hidden out of fear or weakness, but to ensure the galaxy's younger races would be ready for this moment. The age of preparation is over, the Guardian said, its form beginning to fade. The age of alliance is beginning. Humanity awaits your response. In the silence that followed, Zixxa realized she was witnessing more than just a revelation. She was watching the beginning of a new era in galactic history, one that humanity had spent millions of years orchestrating. And somewhere in the void between galaxies, ancient horrors were stirring, unaware that their supposed prey had spent eons preparing for their return. The coming storm. Admiral Valthor stood in Earth's lunar command center, watching as reality itself began to tear. The void between Andromeda and the Milky Way writhed with impossible geometries, space-time folding in ways that made her four hearts stutter with primordial fear. The Void Weavers, Director Chen said quietly, standing beside her. We fought them when your people were still single-celled organisms. Now they're returning. And they're hungry. The command center was a testament to the duality of human nature. Ancient stone pillars housed quantum computers. Holographic displays floated above what appeared to be hand-carved wooden consoles. And throughout the facility, humans in simple clothing commanded technology that could reshape stars. 3 more rifts detected in the Carina arm, Commander Zhang reported, his hands dancing over crystalline controls. The Proxima Collective is deploying the defense systems we provided. Meridian forces are moving to support them. Valthor watched in amazement as the supposedly primitive species she'd come to subjugate coordinated a defense of galactic scale. The Eternal Watch's hidden networks were now fully active, linking thousands of civilizations in ways that transcended normal spacetime. Show me the Varangian fleet, she commanded. The displays shifted, revealing her people's mighty armada joining forces with ships from 24 other species. Vessels that had been designed to fight each other were now forming battle groups under human guidance. Your people adapt quickly, Chen noted with approval. The other archives report similar responses across the galaxy. The Zethar have already integrated our ancient shield harmonics into their defense grid. The Meridian Cluster's quantum arrays are synchronized with the Helios network. A new alarm pierced the command center's quiet efficiency. Lieutenant Patel's voice carried an edge of urgency. First contact. Void Weaver scout vessel emerging in Sector 9. The displays focused on a ship that defied conventional geometry. It moved like a tear in reality, its very existence an offense to natural law. As they watched, it encountered a Proxima defense fleet. Hold, Shen ordered as Valthor instinctively moved to send reinforcements. Watch. The Voidweaver vessel opened fire with weapons that didn't so much destroy as erase from reality. But the Proxima ships, guided by human tactical systems and protected by technology millions of years in the making, held their ground. Impossible, Valthor breathed. They're actually winning, Chen finished, because they're not fighting alone. Indeed, hidden human weapon platforms were activating throughout the sector, their ancient weapons coordinating perfectly with modern alien tactics. The Voidweaver scout, clearly expecting primitive prey, found itself trapped and overwhelmed. Signal from the Meridian archives, Zhang announced. Dr. Zixix's team has successfully integrated the temporal shielding. Their entire sector is now protected against reality distortion attacks. Chen nodded in satisfaction. Humanity spent millions of years preparing for this moment. We didn't just hide technology in those archives. We hid understanding. Each species is contributing something unique to the defense network. The Varangians' tactical brilliance, the Meridians' analytical insights, the Proxima Collective's adaptive strategies, and humanity's wisdom to bring it all together, Valthor realized. The command center's displays suddenly shifted, showing multiple rifts forming simultaneously across both galaxies. The Voidweavers were done testing. The real invasion was beginning. All archives report ready, Patel announced. Defense networks at full power. The Helios protocol is complete. Chen turned to Valthor, her simple clothing shimmer and transforming into ancient battle armor that seemed to bend light around it. Admiral, humanity has guided and protected younger species since before your people walked upright. Now we ask you to fight beside us as equals. Are your forces ready? Valthor straightened, feeling the weight of history in this moment. The Varangian Alliance stands with Earth. All forces await your command. Then let's show the Void Weavers how the galaxy has changed since they last visited. Chen's eyes held the wisdom of millions of years as she gave the order. All forces, execute Operation Starfire. Across 2 galaxies, thousands of civilizations moved as one. Ships of every design and origin formed battle groups that defied traditional tactics. Ancient human weapons platforms synchronized with modern alien technology. Defense grids that had been hidden for eons revealed their true power. As the Void Weavers emerged from their rifts in reality, expecting to find primitive, disorganized prey, they instead encountered something unprecedented. A galaxy united under human guidance, armed with both advanced technology and the wisdom to use it properly. The true test of humanity's ancient strategy was about to begin. And as Valthor watched the combined forces of the galaxy move to meet the threat, she understood at last why humans had hidden their power for so long. They hadn't been afraid or weak. They had been teaching the galaxy how to survive. Legacy of the Stars. The battle for two galaxies raged across dimensions humans had once mastered and deliberately forgotten. Void Weaver vessels twisted through impossible geometries, their weapons unmaking reality itself. But they faced something they had never encountered before: unity. Director Chen stood at the heart of Luna Command, her ancient battle armor pulsing with energies that predated the Varangian's first star voyage. Status report on the Helios network. 97% synchronization. Commander Zhang responded. The Meridian quantum arrays are fully integrated. Dr. Zixix's temporal shields are holding against dimensional shear. Through the command center's displays, they watched as Admiral Valthor led a combined fleet of 30 species against a Void Weaver dreadnought. Varangian battle cruisers flew in perfect formation, with Proxima destroyers, their tactics coordinated by human AI that had waited millions of years for this moment. They're adapting, Lieutenant Patel warned, monitoring the quantum feeds. The Void Weavers are attempting to decode our temporal shielding. Chen's expression remained calm. As expected, execute Phase Omega. Across both galaxies, hidden human installations began their final transformation. The seemingly primitive satellites orbiting Earth revealed their true nature, nodes in a vast network that could manipulate the fabric of space-time itself. The ancient ruins that had taught younger species wisdom now unleashed their full power. Message from Dr. Zixix. Zhang announced. The Meridian archives have completed their metamorphosis. All sites are synchronized and awaiting final activation. Admiral Valthor's voice crackled through the quantum link. Chen, we can't hold them much longer. The dimensional rifts are growing faster than we can seal them. That's exactly what we wanted them to do, Chen replied, a smile touching her lips. All forces, execute Operation Starweaver. The command sent ripples through reality itself. Every piece of hidden human technology, every carefully preserved ancient installation, every quantum array and temporal shield, all activated in perfect harmony. The galaxy itself seemed to sing as millions of years of preparation came to fruition. The Void Weavers, intent on their assault, didn't realize their mistake until it was too late. They had followed the rifts they'd torn in space-time, never suspecting that humanity had spent eons preparing those very rifts as a trap. Now, Chen commanded. Dr. Zixix's voice rang through the command network. Meridian arrays online. Temporal matrix engaging. Proxima collective reporting ready. Another voice joined. Quantum stabilizers at full power. Varangian fleet in position, Valthor confirmed. All units awaiting final sequence. Chen raised her hand, ancient symbols flowing across her armor. In the end, she said softly, it was never about the technology. It was about bringing them here, to this moment, together. The trap closed. The rifts the Void Weavers had torn became their prison, as the combined power of thousands of civilizations, guided by human wisdom, removed the fabric of reality around them. The varied forces they had used to consume galaxies now bound them in a prison of their own making. By the first stars, Valthor breathed, watching as the impossible became possible. You planned this from the beginning. Every technology we discovered, every archive we unearthed, was another piece of the lock, Chen confirmed. Humanity could have built this prison millions of years ago, but it would have failed eventually. The Void Weavers would have escaped, learned, adapted. Instead, we taught the galaxy to build it together, using the unique insights of every species. The command center's displays showed the final stage of humanity's grand strategy. The Void Weavers, beings that had terrorized galaxies since the dawn of time, found themselves trapped not by one species' technology, but by the combined wisdom and innovation of thousands of civilizations. "The prison will hold," Dr. Zixixer reported, her voice filled with wonder. "The quantum matrices are stable. The temporal seals are permanent." As the realization of victory spread across 2 galaxies, Chen turned to address not just those in the command center, but all the species who had fought together. This was humanity's gift to the galaxy, not our technology, not our power, but the understanding that true strength comes from unity. We hid ourselves not out of fear, but to ensure that when this day came, we would face it not as masters and subjects, but as equals. Admiral Valthor stepped forward, her ceremonial claws extended not in threat, but in salute. "And what now? With the threat contained, will humanity retreat back into shadows?" Chen's armor shimmered and transformed back into simple clothing. "No, the age of hiding is over. Now begins the age of true cooperation. There are more wonders in this universe than terrors, more to discover than to fear." She smiled, the wisdom of millions of years melding with simple human warmth. "We survived this threat together. Imagine what we can achieve together in peace." Across 2 galaxies, thousands of species that had once viewed each other with suspicion or hostility now stood united. The Void Weavers had sought to consume them all, but had instead forced them to achieve something unprecedented: true galactic civilization. And at the heart of it all stood humanity, not as conquerors or saviors, but as teachers who had spent millions of years preparing the galaxy for this moment. Their greatest achievement wasn't the technology they had hidden or the trap they had laid. It was the wisdom they had shared, the unity they had forged, and the future they had made possible. The age of secrets was over. The age of wonders was about to begin.